G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Age of Empires 4's new expansion pack, The Sultan's Ascend, to witness a mirror match of a different kind. Well, it's different if you haven't watched the most recent video I did, which was China versus Jussi's Legacy. Today we've got the same matchup, but this time things are going to be different. Ladies and gentlemen, in the north of the map, playing the Jussi's Legacy. In the color blue, it's Wham01. And to his south, playing as the Chinese in the color purple, it's Divine DFP. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're here on Rocky River, I believe it's called. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and of course, ring that bell for notifications if that's your thing. Look, let's get into it. Now, I want to bring up something funny, because there's a very specific reason I'm actually casting this game right now. So, I posted up a video recently, there was Nest of Bees, and in that Nest of Bees video, obviously I'm talking about bees, the beehive, nest of bees, all that good stuff. I'm not kidding you, right? So I cast that game, I go out, and I'm watching Twitch, and I get an advertisement for a new movie. This is not a sponsored content, and it's called The Beekeeper. And I was like, get it, it's got Jason Statham in it, and I was like, that's hilarious. I don't know if that's just really, really good luck, or if, you know, for anybody, well, you guys obviously don't know, because it just happened. I just got a new phone. I've got an iPhone, and I didn't realize I have this thing called Apple Care, where basically I get a replacement if my phone's broken. I didn't know I had that, so it turns out that was expiring next week. And yeah, I was just like, I'll just walk in and see what they say. And they're like, yeah, you get a new phone, congratulations. So anyway, I got a new phone, and I think that updated all the permissions on my stuff, so I'm pretty sure my iPhone's listening to me cast right now. And obviously I'm talking about Nest of Bees, and it's like, oh, you know what this guy wants? He wants Nest of Bees. Let's give him a movie about the beekeeper. And then, of course, they, you know, in the Amazon backend, it talks to Twitch. It's delivering the ads over to me over there, and it's like, hey, here, you like bees? You like keeping bees? You like hives? Here you go. Here's a movie about it. And so that's why we're casting this game, because, well, what better way to do it? We're 2 minutes in. Now you've got your explanation as to why we're here. Let's get down to business. Let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about what we've seen before. So, we've seen this matchup previously. The most... Oh Lord. Oh, Lord, he coming. Oh, my Lord, look what he is going for. Wham01 with an absolute god. Is this going to be the best meditation gardens we've ever seen? It could be. There's a lot of berries down here. He could find a nice little spot about here, maybe a little bit closer down. Picks up the triple berry patch. You know, when they talk about the Jussi Legacy, what they're really talking about is the juicy meditation gardens. Have a look at this. Sending the villager, perfectly timed it, all the way across the map. Divine's got absolutely no clue about this. He's minding his own business, only crossing to the other side of the map. And I think this is one of those maps where you can only really do it on this map. I did see on Reddit, I think someone posted a picture of a meditation gardens that got like 300 food a minute, because it was in the middle of all these berry bushes, and it was on a team game, or team map, I think it was. It was on the same map. But Rocky River, of course, it's not just rocks, it's also berries. Anyway, so we've seen this matchup before. I'll spoil it for you. If you didn't watch the last video, let me explain what happened. So Divine was on the Chinese again. He was facing a Jussi Legacy player, and essentially the Jussi Legacy player's got a really nice timing where they get out of the gates really strong, but eventually the Chinese is able to overwhelm the Jussi player, because what happens is they've got the astronomical clock tower, and essentially they have better trades on their siege. And because they've got that extra little bit of health on their siege engines, if you get a springled or a nest of bees that manages to escape with one shot left on it, you can repair that back up to full. And that's the advantage that you get by having the Chinese over the Jussi Legacy. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other differences between the two. That's not just it. But that was the big one that really stood out for me, and that was what determined the game in the last one that we watched. So the question's going to be, at least on my mind, are we going to see that same thing here? And one of the things to note is that that bonus really seems to peak around Castle Age. What will happen is, if the game does go longer, that bonus will actually be lost out, because the astronomical clock tower, you can't supervise that bad boy. You're only able to pump out a certain amount of siege units, you know, every 30 seconds, every 45 seconds, whatever it is. It's only one. Whereas your opponent, obviously, the later the game goes, then the more siege they're able to make and outnumber, and the less impact that clock tower has got. So keep that in mind if this game does end up going late. But have a look at this. Let's check in with the meditation gardens. Oh, God. Oh, it's going to be ludicrous. 128 food a minute coming through here. 30 wood, or 30 stone coming through, and it looks about 12 wood. So you are talking about an absolute insane meditation gardens there, reaching a total of 4 villages equivalent. So that gives Wham a massive advantage early on right now. You can see he's only got 1 villager on food, but despite that, he's sitting on 168 food a minute. He literally doesn't even need to have a villager on food at this stage of the game. You can see he's got 1 villager in queue at the moment. He could throw another 2 in there easily and then still have plenty. 3. There you go. He's just got so many resources from this. But look at this. The second town center already coming down. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Beautiful timing on this. Wham knows what he's doing. Song Dynasty up alive already. Let's check in on the other side of the map and see how Divine DFP is doing as the Barbican has come down in the front of the base. Nice little Barbican spot here as well. Protecting the gold somewhat. Protecting the stone somewhat. But is going to be looking for that second TC as well. Now, will Wham, off that second TC, look to go for a third TC? It looks like he will be going for it. So we are going to be seeing 3 TC up against 2 TC. So technically, the 3 TC is better than the Chinese 2 TC. Because remember that at the end of the day, the Song Dynasty has been nerfed. There were the good old days where it used to be 13 seconds for each of your villagers being trained. Those days are gone. Now we're down to 15 seconds, and I think that that's a little bit more, well, it's obviously a little bit more reasonable. Back in the day, you guys remember how strong China was when you'd go for 2 TC, but look at this timing. 6 minutes 10, gets the second TC and the Song Dynasty down, so we can definitely see Divine knows what he's doing, because these are some pretty good timings. I remember after they nerfed the Chinese, actually it wasn't after they nerfed the Chinese, it was after they nerfed the town center cost. It reduced the timing that you can go for this TC from about 5 minutes 55 to about 6 minutes 10. So it looks like he is 100% on par right now. He is scoring plenty of points here, but second TC is up online. Now, keep in mind, not only does Wham have that villager advantage from having that second TC up faster, he's also got that meditation gardens, which doesn't really show here working its magic, but obviously we've got other factors to consider. You've got, you know, the Imperial Academy here, which is buffing up these mill drop-offs, these lumber camp drop-offs. As long as he's got Imperial officials to collect the gold, he's going to be A-okay. Plenty of sheep coming through on this mill as well, right next to the town center, keeping it absolutely safe. Third TC is up now for Divine, and we've got granaries coming down. And look at this, he's going for the granary on the deer pack, and I'm a big fan of this. This makes so much sense. So one of the common things that we often see players do is they look to put a town center on top of a deer pack. And the reason why they do that is if we take a look at a deer pack, say here's a big one right here, you can see it's quite far apart. It's not easy. You went for a mill right here, you've got big walk distances. But if you put a town center right here, all of a sudden your walk distances are much lower. And what's great about the Chinese or the Juicy Legacy is that you can build a granary, which is a very big mill, and that gives you that larger footprint and makes it easier to drop off. On top of that, it's also going to double as a great little spot for him to put his farming economy in when he wants to eventually graduate over to those farms. And of course, as the Juicy Legacy, that is something you want to be doing very, very early on, just because you've got such an efficient farm transition. But have a look at this. It looks like we might even be having a castle age coming through from Wham. This is kind of wild, right? 3 TCs into a castle age. On the other side, it looks like Divine just going to be walling it up. We do see his scout for Wham is over on this side of the map. Now, if he spots the walls, he's going to know that he's in a good spot. The walls will come up here. It looks like Divine might be able to get a nice little quick wall along the edge if he tries for it. Wham decides, you know what, he might go for it, so I'm not even going to bother. We'll just try and go north. Definitely the right call here. Now, he's going to spot that second TC. He knows what he's up against. He looks at this stone, sees, okay, well, I know that there's only 1 town center in play, so I do have the eco advantage. And that's important to remember, because often in this situation, in this matchup, not in this matchup, but generally when you're playing against the Chinese, you do want to try and keep tabs on how big their economy is going to be growing, and whether you're going to keep up with it. So definitely at this stage with Wham on the 3 TCs, he is keeping up on it. But have a look at this. It is just absurd how quickly he's going to be going castle age. 3 TCs into a castle age at 9 minutes roughly. Have a look at this. This is absolutely ludicrous how quick this is. Plenty of villagers on the gold. Not going to be supervising them up. Definitely doesn't have the Imperials he feels. He's got Imperial Official out on the granary. Imperial Official over on the mill at this stage. And there's the Shaolin Monastery coming down in the front of the base. 9 minutes and 10 seconds. This is a kind of wild Chinese strategy, but I'm going to be honest, I love this. Now, one of the crazy things to remember is that this... And this is why I genuinely think the Juicy Legacy is absolutely busted. Now, if you've seen some of the recent tournaments, you will know that they are busted. They are perma-banned. Everybody at the top level has now realized that this civilization is absolutely broken. There's no way you can really contest it, so you just got to ban it out. But one of the things to note is that if I was playing the English, and I tell you right now, I am an English enjoyer, I would be looking for a castle age click-up timing of around 10 minutes 30, 10 minutes 40. You've got an age-up timing of 9 minutes 40 here, off 3 TCs. That's how crazy this civilization is. It is just on a whole nother level of ridiculous. And I'm curious to see how Divine's going to face up against that. Already, we can see that he's going for a little bit of a turtle-style play here. Opting for walls to the south of the base, opting for walls to the front of the base, and of course walls to the north of the base, which we've already seen. He is completely enshrouded. He's shrouded himself in mystique. In walls. That's pretty much it. And to be honest, look, Wham's going to be able to see over the majority of those walls. He'll know what's going on behind it, but I'm curious to see exactly how Divine looks to play this. Now, one thing to note is we do have an Imperial official on the mining camp. This is quite important, but not for the reason that you might think. Now, everybody knows with the Imperial official, you get an extra 20% resources, which is wonderful, because instead of getting 15 gold handed in here, you're getting 18 gold handed in. But one of the things people often don't really consider is that this gives him a little bit more longevity. It means that instead of having to move out of his base when he's gathered 4,000 gold, he's going to be moving out of his base after gathering, what is it, 5,000 gold. There you go, 5,000 gold. It's 4,800, isn't it? So 4,800 gold. So you're getting an extra 800 gold out of this. Of course, on top of that, you're also collecting extra gold from your buildings from the Imperial Academy. So that's another important thing to note. So he's really having quite a lot of gold here in the base, and doesn't have to move out as quick as other civilizations might have to. But not only that, he's got a gold right in the front. He might need to put a keep down for this gold here. I think would be very important, because this keep will serve two purposes. Not only does it secure the gold in front, but on top of that, it's also going to secure just the base in general. So that will be very nice for him. But now we'll check in on the other side of the map. We'll see how Wham is doing as the age up comes through for his opponent. Monastery's getting thrown down. He's picked up one relic so far. Second relic on the way back through. Third relic coming through for him as well. Fourth relic, and the fifth relic is safely in the back of his base. It's going to be a 5 versus 0 relic advantage. On top of that, you've also got the villager advantage, which is starting to build here. It's going to be very slight, though. You've got 2.66 town centers against 3 town centers. And if you're wondering, what does that really mean? Well, the Chinese town centers, they produce villages once every 15 seconds, which means that after a minute, they've produced 4 villages. So here we've got 2 town centers, which means after a minute, we've produced 8 villages. On the other side of the map, we've got town centers that produce villages in 20 seconds, which means each town center is producing a villager every 20 seconds for a total of 3 a minute. And we've got 3 town centers, which means we're on 9 villages every minute. So you've got 9 villages a minute versus 8 villages a minute. After 10 minutes, it's only a difference of 10 villages. It's not a huge difference. And relics are definitely going to play a much larger part than, say, that 10 villager difference would. Not to mention that it is in the advantage of the player who's got the relics. But at this stage of the game, one of the big factors is going to be this cavalry out on the map. It's going to keep his opponent inside the base, and we can already start to see these extra walls coming up now for Divine on the south side. Now, for anybody wondering, why was it that Divine took so long to get up to the castle age compared to his juicy legacy opponent? And I would suspect that that is largely because of the farm transition. He looked to get these farms down quite early. This guarantees he doesn't have to leave his base. Often we see these Chinese players putting their second town center down relatively close to Deer Pack so that they can take advantage of them, and they get these really quick age ups, just like we saw the Juicy Legacy do. But of course, he's not going to be doing that. He's going to be playing a little bit safer. And if I'm honest with you guys, I think he might be looking at a fast Imperial. I think that might be the play here for. And speaking of fast Imperial, have a look at this. Look at the resources right now that Wham has got in the bank. Huge amount. 13:37 minutes into this, we will switch it over to income, get a bit of an idea on where these guys stand. You're looking at 2,600, a total of 4,000 resources per minute coming through for Wham. And Divine on the other side, you've got 1,600, 2,400, 3,500, so pretty damn close to each other, about 500 resources difference, and you can probably throw that down to relics together with the meditation gardens, and now you understand where that difference is coming in. But we spoke about this earlier. Now it's coming through. The big transition to farms. Really important. Now, with Wham's transition to farms, he's going to be having cheaper farms. 45 wood. Compare that to his opponent. Divine only going to be paying 75 wood. So basically a 2-for-1 realistically. You know, you're talking 90 wood for 2 farms versus 75 for 1. So very, very close. But now Juicy's library going to be coming in. The question is, where is it? It's over here in the back of the base. Juicy's library going to be coming in. Now, I'm curious to see whether he looks to exploit. I mean, I don't know if exploit is the right term. There's a bug. There's a bug. You can actually get 3 technologies with this landmark, and he's got plenty of resources in the bank, so we could look to do it here. But look, I kind of consider it fair game if you do use it, because it's not, all you're doing is you're just pressing keys really fast. For anybody who doesn't know, you basically research a technology, pick anything you like. So let's say you research 10,000 bolts. Okay, and then all you're going to do is you're just going to press 2 keys really quickly in succession. So maybe you want to go for Dynastic Protectors and Advanced Administration, or you just do Ia, or Ari, really, really quickly, and eventually you'll get it. And that's how you get 3 techs out of it. I tried getting 4 techs, I couldn't get it. So, yeah, I think I actually showed that that bug. I don't want to call it an exploit. I want to call it a bug to just, like, insulate myself a little bit from it. Because it's not like, you know, I think of exploit and I'm like, yeah, you've got infinite relics. I think of, like, bug and I'm like, you know, we can get 3 technologies when we should only get 2. It's probably an exploit. Anyway, I think I did show that in one of the games that I played, one of those team games I played with the boys. You guys will remember Voldemar, Snooper, Fitzbro all coming in, but have a look at this. A little bit of a push coming through the middle. Divine going for his classic combination. We've seen him do it with every single civilization we've watched. It's a combination of spearmen, crossbows, and siege. And it's, in my opinion, the best combination you can get in the game. However, there's a little caveat, and that caveat is that you shouldn't ideally reach maximum population with this. Ideally, you should always be trying to fight your opponent. You should always be trying to trade out units with it and always be looking to reinforce with plenty of spears on that front line. But have a look at this Wham. Despite going Imperial, he's just chilling out for the moment, but we've got some upgrades starting to come through. He's gone into Elite Knights or Elite Lancers. Actually, I take it back. He was going for it. I think he's cancelled it up, though. Has he gone into Yuan Raiders instead? Is that what we saw? No, it wasn't Yuan Raiders. 10,000 bolt. Oh, it's Elite Crossbows, though. I thought it was Elite Jukenut. So it's so hard to tell, you know. I've actually given this feedback to the devs. I've said, hey, can we get, like, something to differentiate the Crossbows and Jukenut a little bit better? It is so hard to tell the difference between these 2 units. Like, I genuinely can't tell which one is which. And I'll click on one and be like, this is 100% a crossbow, and it's a Jukenut. And then I'll do the same to the crossbow, and I'll do the same to the Jukenut, and it's a crossbow. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, a little bit of a push coming up. Palisade walls. Not a whole lot of health on it. He's going to have to move villagers very quickly over to this if he wants to try and stop this attack from coming. Attacks the gate, so the re-wall can't happen. Oh, at the front line, the nest of bee emplacement fires off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beehive. Divine DFB. He's going to be your beekeeper. He's going to be your bald Jason Statham, looking at absolutely stellar as he breaks his way through. This is the hive, and I am the... I think that was the quote. I saw the quote on the movie. Here I am. I'm just pushing out a little bit of, you know, cross-promotion for the beekeeper here. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I'm like, there is no way there is a movie called The Beekeeper, and they got Jason Statham being the beekeeper. But look, at this stage of the game, I'm more inclined to believe Divine DFP is going to be the beekeeper as the nest of bees on that Great Wall. That Great Wall gatehouse looks very strong. And we talked earlier about the fact that you'd look to get a keep up here. It serves as that, you know, that two-sided protector. Montlu Academy going to be coming through. Which is going to be giving him that Yuan dynasty. Keep in mind that once you reach the Yuan dynasty, you'll gain access to cheaper units as long as they're unique. If I remember correctly, they have to be unique units. Unique New York. But Great Wall Gatehouse, of course, is a great substitute instead of the keep in the middle of the map. Of course, wonderful because it only costs wood to repair compared to stone, which is what the keep would cost. But now, in the middle of the map, Sacred Site's going to start being taken. Wham. 130 villagers, slightly faster than his opponent. Siege numbers starting to build up. Elite crossbowmen are out on the field. And now Wham, looking to move into a crossbow-only maximum. Or maximum? Crossbow-only mass, I guess we could say. Now, if we were to talk about these 2 civilizations in the late game, which one do you think has the better chance? I'd be tempted to say the Chinese. And the reason why is because of their hand cannoneers. The hand cannoneers for the Chinese have got a special bonus. Now, it was just actually picked up by Divine. And what that does is, if we can click on them... No, they're not here. Maybe they're yet to join the fray. There they are. Pyrotechnics increases the range of your hand cannoneer from 4 range to 5.5 tiles of range. It might not seem like a lot, but I promise you it is a huge difference maker in these fights, especially if Wham starts thinking about going for hand cannoneers himself. It means all of a sudden he's going to have a huge disadvantage up against his opponent's hand cannoneers. But on the other side, though, Wham has got a number of things that affect him. Most notably, he's got those extra powerful Jukunu and extra strong crossbowmen. We start to see him moving into even more upgrades on these crossbows, going into incendiary arrows. So hopefully we see him really look to stick to this ranged infantry composition. I'd be curious to see how much siege plays an importance on this, but Now it looks like we've got more cavalry units looking to siege down a couple of walls. Not going to find their way through. There are double walls that are up here for Divine at this stage. And now the spear's going to be coming in. Elite upgrades have already arrived. He's got the Yuan dynasty for that extra movement speed. Going to be fighting up against his opponent here. Keep in mind, he's also in the Yuan dynasty, but doesn't get that extra movement speed. Instead, he's going to be paying less for his units. So if we take a look here at the Zhukanu, you can see it's got that discounted cost. In fact, it's all units. It's not just unique units. It's all units. I think it works out to be a 10% or 15% cost reduction, which, you know, it's definitely something nice to think about. But, I mean, at this stage of the game, does Wham really need a cost reduction? If anything, he needs a damage boost. And the best way to get that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be in the Ming dynasty, which I can only assume is coming through any second. He's got the resources for it. Look at this beautiful farming economy coming up for Wham right now. We've had a very passive game so far through this this first 20 minutes, but it is building up. I can feel it. I don't know about you guys, but I can feel it pushing towards this late stage. I was going to say capitalism, but watching the Chinese against the Juicy Legacy, this is late stage communism right here. Is late stage communism even a thing? I don't know. What's late stage communism? Is that just utopia? It's a joke. Calm down. All the Americans like up in arms, like, ah, patriots, get out of here. No, anyway, look, you guys know me. I'm staunchly non-political. As a wait, is it a socialist? It could be. Anyway, look, let's not get into it. I don't want to offend anybody, but I believe in just treating everybody nicely. There you go. How's that? How's that for you? And speaking of how's that, look at Divine DFP in the middle. The Imperial Palace is out. Plenty of line of sight thrown here. I love this landmark. I remember this is one of the first landmarks I used with the Chinese when it first came out. And I was like, what can you do with this landmark? And it's like, well, it gives you a lot of intel, right? You know what your enemy's rough economy status is. You can see where they are. You can try and identify weak points or where to attack. And of course, he's going to have the access to Imperial spies once again. But most importantly, you can pair this with units like the Palace Guard, which are incredibly fast. You can try and get behind those enemy lines and really start to be annoying, hitting the opponent from all angles. Let's see if he pops it again. We'll see how much he can spot. But now, Sacred Site in the middle is being taken. 3 Sacred Sites on this map, including the one down to the south, which is quite safe here for Divine. But now it looks like we might have ourselves a little bit of action coming through on the middle. We're going to head into the cinematic mode as the Springles move forward. The roller shutter triggers undoubtedly through for both of these players at this stage. Remember, these guys are very, very good players. Wham trying his best, not able to take out any of the Nester Bees. Keep in mind, this is able to take out any of the Springles. This is what we talked about. You're up against Clock Tower Springles here, which means that they've got that extra bit of health on them, which means that you're going to be needing to outnumber them. But have a look at this. Outposts in the middle. Almost certainly going to be seeing Springled emplacements or cannon emplacements coming through shortly for them. Palace Guards being rallied towards the middle. And Cannoneers together with the crossbows. And this is what I was scared about playing against the Chinese as the Juicy Legacy. It just feels like their numbers are a little bit stronger. Springald's moving up once again, looking to try and get a pick off on that Bombard. Not able to find it just yet, but the Bombard stalled out a little bit of time. He's looking for it. You can see him just skeeting up. There we go. Gets the shots off. He's not able to take it out immediately. Siege works undoubtedly coming through for him. 2 more Springalds coming into the fray. Will be able to find some picks off on the front. Still firing off Fire Lancers. No. They are not Fire Lancers. They are Horsemen with Fire Lancers. At least I think that they are. No, they just might be Horsemen. I think they're just Horsemen at this stage of the game. He could look to get the Fire Lancers in, but he really needs to find a way to deal with these outposts. You can see that the outposts are doing a decent job of just keeping his opponent down. It looks like cannon emplacements are through. We can see those big shots coming in, and that damage is going to be massive. Ideally, we needed a Bombard coming out about 1 minute to 2 minutes ago. We knew our opponent was throwing these down in the middle, so we need to try and deal with that effectively, but continuing to push up the infantry mass has started to dwindle. He's lost his Nester Beast, and there's the Bombard finally coming through. Look at the gates on the front. I feel like I'm watching a no-rush game right now. How long do you want your no-rush for? No-rush 20 minutes? Well, seems like that's exactly what these guys have agreed to. We have got ourselves an absolute no-rush game right now, but you know, talking to Beekeeper, this is 100% the Hive right now. We got to get a picture of this. This is something of beauty. Man, absolutely beautiful stuff. Bombard firing down towards the middle. Infantry closely packed together, continuing to push forward. I'd love to see a second Bombard come out just so we can one-shot these outposts. Continuing to move forward. The Springald's doing an absolute decent job. Roller shutter triggers, fires down. He's going to be able to take one of the enemy Springalds out, and now those reinforcements come through. And this is what I was talking about earlier, the fact that you've got the Clock Tower. The Clock Tower is only good while your opponent has an economy that is not able to pump out mass siege. Once they can get to that mass siege, the clock tower starts to lose its significance. Now Nesta B is going to be firing off on that center of mass. The numbers starting to build here for the hand cannoneers as well, focusing down the horsemen. Plenty of siege coming out for Wham, exactly where we suspected it would go, where there is so much siege on board. What that's going to mean is that your clock tower is just irrelevant at this stage of the game because you can only pump out so many siege units. Let's bring that UI back in. I want to see exactly where these guys are up to. When it comes to income, it looks like you're sitting at about 3.5k here for Divine compared to his opponent. Whoa, my lord, absolutely massive, about 7k over on that side. Did I say 3.5k? I meant 6.5k. 6.5k against 7k, so still pretty even Stevens at this stage of the game. Relic's yet to play a significant part. We do see plenty of villagers moving towards that gold vein on that north side. He's managed to secure up the gold with the keep. Nice little proximity that he's got there. Still plenty of gold behind this side. And now towards the middle of the map, 22 hand cannoneers still alive for Divine DFP. Maintains a pretty significant lead, but have a look at the siege that's coming out from Wham. Oh my lord, talk about the siege wars. You know, you've seen Star Wars Episode 2, the Clone Wars. Well, may I introduce you to the version for Age of Empires 4, which is called the Siege Wars. I mean, realistically, it could just be called the Clone Wars. Look at how hard he is pumping on these sieges. Has he got Imperial officials pumping these out? He's just going ham. Just without it, it seems. Impressive amount of siege that he's gotten. You can see Divine is just having trouble keeping up with the amount of siege that his opponent is throwing out. And I think this is the strength of Juicy Legacy. Can we have a look and see? Oh, he's gone into it. He's gone into the Bombard upgrade. This is going to mean that his Bombards are basically long-range mangonels. All of a sudden, these Bombards are actually really, really good against ranged units, against melee units. They're pumping out that extra damage against everything because they've got that AoE. You can see right now, it doesn't actually say on the card that it does AoE damage, but I can promise you, I can assure you that these units are incredible. And have a look at the way that Wham is playing this, making only siege for the most part. 7 Springalds to defend his siege. 5 Bombards, which are now going to be doubling as long-range Nesta B / Mangonels. Probably closer to Mangonels. And now starting... So what Divine needs to do in this situation, he needs to put down a siege workshop and he needs to start supervising it. So he's got the siege workshop here. He needs to start supervising it. It's imperative that he does this. You can see he's got Imperial Official just on a blacksmith. A little bit of a waste here, so it's really important we're cycling our Imperial Officials in the late game. And now we've got a counter-attack up towards the north. Elite Horsemen have made their way onto the gold vein. The keep has gone up, but it's a little bit too aggressive, and the wall not going to come up in time. There's plenty of villagers here, but unfortunately, it looks like the Light Horsemen, or rather the Elite Horsemen, will just be able to destroy it. Nesta B's trying to find shots off. He's looking to focus down the Bombards. He's got to be careful in doing that, because it just means he's going to lose out his own expensive Springalds. He's got the Clock Tower Springalds, so they take a little bit more damage, and now that keep will be providing a little bit of cover fire here for these villagers in the north, but he's able to shut down gold gathering, and you can see he's only got 4 villagers listed on this gold vein. He's managed to bait the horsemen back towards this palisade gate, where they're just going to sit here and chill for the moment. Nesta B's firing off, teeing off towards each other. And now Bombard starting to come out in force. And keep in mind that Wham does have the ability to move into the Temple of the Sun, which will take him to the Ming Dynasty and then give him the ability to get extra range on his Bombards. That's going to be a really important thing that we're going to be looking for here in the late game. He's got the resources to do it, but keep in mind he's looking to leverage that bonus where he is reducing the cost of his units. And now that push starting to come through from Divine. I'm absolutely loving this man fight. This is what I refer to as a man fight, where you've got 2 players who just somewhat agree, I'm going to fight you in the middle, and that's pretty much it. Now, of course, we've had a little bit of a raid up towards the top side. It got shut down quickly, but we don't see things like battering rams coming in on these sides. We don't see trebuchets, anything silly. It's just you and me in the middle, no blocking, just punching. It's like when you get 2 heavyweights that don't know how to block, and they just know how to punch, and they just punch each other silly for 12 rounds. At least I think that's how long boxing goes for. No, I'm not a huge boxing fan. I used to enjoy MMA back in the day, but MMA is not boxing. We had 3 rounds in MMA, 5 rounds in the finals, in the belt matches. What are they called? The title matches. But now, it looks like the crossbows are starting to build up in mass. We've got 35 of them on the field, 12 in queue. So he's looking to really pump them out, get them out there on the field. And now, it feels like Divine is still really yet to respond to this siege mass from his opponent. Of course, he's been pumping out non-stop Springalds, but we also need to see Nesta B's coming out. And now that Nesta B's in placement looks to rain down fire. upon his opponent. Yuan Dynasty is still through for Wham at this stage. He's going to be going up against the Great Wall Gatehouse, which has got a range of 10. The Bombard has got a range of 10 as well, but if you go for the Temple of the Sun, you can increase the range of the Bombard with the Juicy Legacy from 10 to 11 and outrange that Great Wall Gatehouse, and basically guarantees that your opponent has no defense in that center location. Gold has completely run out on this north side. We'll check in on the south. Expected to see trade coming up shortly, and with trade coming up shortly, you'd expect to see stone walls coming up as well. But of course, his opponent has got easy access to his base. And now we start to see, you know, I talked about the concept of a man fight earlier where you don't really look to split your enemy. Well, Wham, he's not fighting by the rules that were set out. You know, we clearly said 20 minutes, no rush. 20 minutes, no rush. No warships. What else did we say? Half map. They agreed to that. Come on, Age of Empires 3 treaty, guys. You guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. For anybody who doesn't know, in Age of Empires 3, and I love telling this story, in Age of Empires 3, there used to be a whole community of people that just loved playing a game mode. It wasn't even a game mode, it was just normal. And they'd agree, they'd be like, okay, for 20 minutes, we're not going to attack each other. 30 minutes, we're not going to attack each other. But the problem is the game couldn't support that, so you had to agree. And the problem was, you could just like go and attack your enemy. And so, what do you think young Drongo did? Oh, that's exactly what young Drongo did. I'm like, it's 3 points, baby. Yeah, 20 minutes, no rush, sure, let's do it. And now all of a sudden, wham. Look, mate, Geneva Convention. I don't know what the Geneva Convention was about, but I can tell you right now, civilians should not be involved in this. Looking terrible right now. Wham just eliminating all the villagers, down at less than 100 villagers for Divine side, but a push in the middle coming out. Hello, he doesn't care about villagers right now. Divine just going to still keep pumping on siege. Look at him go. Sprinkled numbers starting to look good. He continues to push up. He's got a beautiful concave. Gets a good shot on him. Loses the first of the Nest of Beasts. Hand Cannoneer is able to fire off, dishing out plenty of damage. Springled's doing a decent job, able to take out that second bombard. A single bombard remains now. We're entering into the cinematic mode. The majority of the attacks have been shut down on the backside. More units running towards the middle. Nest of Bees, nowhere to be seen. They've been eliminated completely, but speared together with a Hand Cannoneer, of course, is going to be absolutely decent. Crossbows trying to pick up a couple of reinforcements in the middle. Bombards need to make sure that they're focusing down this production on the front side. Ignore those landmarks for now. It's all about the production. Bombards indeed turn around. Now going to look to clean up those units, but it looks like the majority of this fight has dwindled down. For the most part, the reinforcements have been shut out effectively. A couple of outposts, ghosts, outposts, blueprints here, yet to be completed for Wham. But now, more horsemen going to be running in towards that front side. Let's check in with these players and see how they're doing on the economic side of things. 170 villagers, or 170 population versus 140. 96 versus 113 villagers. The real difference now is going to start showing itself. Remember earlier when 5 relics went over to the way of Wham? Well, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to really consider that. We got 2 relics in the bag here, 2 relics in the bag here. Where's that 5th relic though? I've got no idea where it is. That's very strange. I've got no idea why. Now, moving into the Ming Dynasty, I would have loved to have seen him move into the Ming Dynasty earlier. It would have given him a lot of flexibility, not just in when it comes to, say, repairing your units out on the field with the Temple of the Sun, or getting extra range on your siege with the Temple of the Sun, but also just having extra damage on your units. Now, it's only your unique units, and at this stage of the game, he's making horsemen and crossbows, and neither of those units are unique. So it just makes me think, oh, maybe he's just playing it right at this stage. Upgrades starting to come through, so looking for +3s. Keep gonna go down on the south side. Bombard ripping it apart. But realistically, I don't know how much Divine really cares about this. It's not like there's much to fight for over towards this north side of the map. Of course he's got villagers up here, but they're just on berries. He doesn't really care much about it. Of course he cares about the positioning. He wants to make sure he doesn't lose that, because if it does open up, then he's going to expose himself, expose that huge farming economy to those horsemen. And that's something that you want to avoid. Horsemen now looking for a way through. Keep in mind, these guys are very fast, 1.88 movement speed. Looks like there is an opening. He should just be able to siege this gate down and run through without too much of a problem. Vils are going to be moving out for a quick wall here, but they're going to have to move very quickly if they want to get this up. I don't think he's brought enough villagers for it. He's going to try. No, he's just fallen back. And now, looks like the Springalds trying to get repairs in. One of them will go down. Nice little combination here from Divine on the defensive, able to clean up the majority of these cavalry units before they're able to break into the farmland. And that's the most important part of this. 100 villages versus 123. Still, a lot of siege out on the map at the moment for Wham. Keep in mind, Yuan Dynasty is still in play here. He's gone for... What has he gone for? We've gone for... Oh, 10,000 bolts. It took me a while to think of it. 10,000 bolts, and then he's gone for... What is it? Smoking gun. We'll just call it smoking gun. It's the bombards get AoE. All right. Horsemen coming through onto the backside of the base. Stabilization coming through here for Wham. Trade now going to be coming out for him, despite the fact he's got 10,000 gold in the bank. Despite the fact that he's got 5 relics. Despite the fact he's got the sacred site. He still says, you know what? I need to make sure my gold income stays afloat. I need to keep these bad boys alive. And he's got 12 traders, actually 3 traders out for the moment. There's 12 tacks in here. And a single trade post over on that north side. Now, keep in mind, he does have it all stone-walled for the moment, so it means that it will stay safe. But I just feel like, realistically, from the side of Divine, he needs to do the same thing, but he needs to get those stone walls up. That's really important. I'd love to see stone walls across this side. So stone wall here, stone wall across to this wood line, so you just delete this wall here. And then you'd look to stonewall across and just really try and stonewall all the way up to your Great Wall Gatehouse. Really important. But now massive push in the middle of the map. Coming through. Divine looking to try and enclose upon his opponent. The bombards may get caught out of position. You can see the palace guards together with those spearmen moving forward, but he gets a decent surround, and the spears come through, make a wonderful connection here. Chinese against the Juicy Legacy. Look at the numbers coming out right now for Divine. Coming up the rear. Keep in mind, he's still running Yuan Dynasty, so does get that extra movement speed. At least I think he is. Yeah, still in Yuan Dynasty at this stage. So getting that extra movement speed, able to really close the gap and take his opponent by surprise. And not just his opponent, he took me by surprise. Look at the hand cannoneers, how much damage they're able to do, just one-shotting every single unit that comes even close to them. They can move forward. You want to try and keep them spread out so that they spread their damage out a little bit. That's exactly what he does. They're moving them into the correct formation, the line formation. Now more units rallying in here. I'd love to see production brought up. Throw a couple more production buildings across the front here. Get it a little bit closer towards that enemy base. But now that defensive bonus is going to start kicking in for our Juicy Legacy player. Hand cannoneers together with the palace guards, making a formidable combo in the late game here. And we can really see that Divine is just wanting to man fight. But of course, on the other side, you know, Wham going for a couple of low blows. We've seen him, you know, go below the belt before. I think he went for a takedown as well. It's like, sir, do you know we're boxing here? You can't just be taking me down. He's like, oh, sorry. I'm actually a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter that just learned boxing last week. And well, you're doing very well, Wham. I'll be honest. You're doing very well for a guy who just learned to box last week. I almost feel like I don't agree with that. I don't believe you, Wham. I'll say that much. Keep coming down. Defensive little keep. That's how under pressure Wham feels at this stage of the game. And have a look at the advantage when it comes to the military. Slightly in favor of Divine. And now we've got that run by coming through. Wham, he's going to be under pressure. I'm curious to see whether Divine has taken advantage of the Imperial Spy technology, or Imperial Spy... What do you call this? The button? No, it's got a term, right? Oh, he's throwing away his palace guards. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. The power of the palace guard is in their speed. If we have a look at this palace guard, 1.58 movement speed against crossbows with 1.12 movement speed. And it's so painful to watch this because these palace guards could have been the cause of so much pain for Wham. And Divine just lets them die like that. So what do you want to do? In a situation like this, what do you want to do? Well, you want to go full force. You want to make sure you've palace guards run through. Just send 2 off over here, rally them up to the back. And then you're going to send 2 over in this corner, 2 up here, and then just send the rest of them down. Nest of bees. Nowhere to be seen here as the palace guards just look to try and get into the food economy. They've done a decent job of it. He's thrown up another keep over on this side. Now the stone wall's going to be coming up, and hold your horses. Just as we were talking about that attack on the north side, Divine says, well, Drongo, I don't need to worry about that attack on the north side. As long as I'm keeping his crossbows busy, then it means that he's not going to be able to address this attack on the south side, which is much stronger because we're hitting the farmland. Now, of course, we know he's got 16,000 food in the bank. It's not a huge deal, but at the end of the day, it comes down to tempo. You want to make sure these villages are always working, always gathering resources. It's really, really important. We can see Divine barely staying afloat at this stage of the game. Wham pulling ahead in the score. More than 1,000 points now at this stage of the game. But behind this, the real question for me is going to be, where is your siege? Where is your siege? How are we doing on walls? Still no stone walls up. Exposed trade. Never something you want to see. Typically, we want to avoid exposing things. One of the things very important to avoid exposing is your trade. You want to try and keep that hidden away, tucked away, snuck away, where the enemy won't be able to touch it. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it, sir. The meditation gardens are bugged. If you take them down, then they'll get the bonus. I've just realized he's put pagodas at the back here, but he's only got one of the relics inside it. I guess as long as he's gone into Tithe Barns, it's okay. Can we just double check he's gone into Tithe Barns? He's gone into Tithe Barns. I mean, still technically you want to try and put them in the pagodas, but hasn't opted to do that. But now more and more palace guards coming through. And I love the way that Divine has turned the tables here. You know, Divine was very keen to just to play it down the middle. He was very keen for a man fight. And then Divine, you know, Wham basically said, well, I'm going to try and fight you on the edges of the map. And Divine's like, I'm a honey badger. I don't really care about that. I'm just going to still fight you in the middle. And then once he gets control of the middle, he just immediately pushes out. And he's like, you've made walls too far forward. You haven't gone for an onion like some people, which, by the way, can we just talk about our onions? You know, for me, I'm very much a Tony Abbott when it comes to onions. I love onions. I eat them raw. Enclave of the Emperor? Oh my God, is he making a wonder? Oh, he's making a wonder! Oh, God! What the hell is an Enclave of the Emperor? Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we've found out. 41 minutes into this game, Wham has a new objective. Defend your wonder. How much does that even cost? I can't even see it on the UI because the Chinese have got so many damn things to build. It's literally not on the UI. Why can't I can't click it. You guys can't even see me over here. I don't know how much he paid for it, but I'm pretty sure they reduced the cost of this down. We've got a wonder victory approaching, ladies and gentlemen. I never thought I'd see the day. We're here once again with a wonder online. And now Divine's actually got a task to achieve. It's not just be a silly Billy running units around the game, around the map. Now, can I just talk about a couple of late game things that are really important here? Divine needs to start walling up. It's really, really important. Now, I know he doesn't have a lot of stone in the bank, but it's so important that he takes this time that he's got, this space, to start walling. Thank you, Divine. Thank you. This is exactly, thank you. This is exactly what you need to do. I'm going to be honest, this wall, it's nice. It feels a bit aggressive, a bit forward. I'd like to go something a little bit more passive, but I'm happy with this. Just remember, the further you put this wall out, the easier it is to hit with a battering ram and then send a couple of units in behind. If you had gone for a wall that's, you know, a little bit more defensive like this, or a little bit, well, not defensive, but a little bit closer to home, it makes it harder to attack and easier to defend for you. But look at this, Divine now around the top side. It looks like we might have an upset on our hands. Keep in mind, there is a wonder in play, and realistically, all Wham needs to do is just kind of chill on that wonder. But now, the forces, more and more villagers getting behind the walls here, is putting up outposts as well. You can see that the spears together with the hand cannoneers are just eliminating the units before they can even really come through. And now Wham bringing in Divine bringing in a huge amount of units. Now Wham's got a massive economy behind this, but remember, he's got that immobile, slow siege that he's just trying to haul around. He's got 6 Springlords, but you want to know the best part? Divine says, you want to have an arms race with siege? That's fine. I got no arms. I've only got legs. That's why they call me Bob. And look at him go. He's just running around. He is outplaying the Chinese, or rather the Juicy Legacy right now. This is not something I expected to see. When it came to the man fight, we knew where the advantage laid. It laid in the advantage, or it laid with the Juicy Legacy, because they had that late game production advantage, and this is exactly what you need right here. These stone walls in the middle. To be honest, I'd love to see them on this side instead. Once again, just, you know, the closer they are to home, the easier they are to defend. If you go for aggressive and greedy like this, it means that they're very easy to punish. You know, a bombard can pretty much from these walls take these out. Doesn't have to put himself in a bit of a difficult spot, but speaking of difficult spots right now, Palace Guards looking to get in on top of those Springlords. Will be able to find it. The wonder victory continues to approach 12 minutes into the game. Wham's got a lot of resources in the bank. Look at the amount of units that are here right now for Divine. He is just absolutely balls to the walls, trying his hardest to deal with this opponent. Went for a little bit too much greed, he says. Let's see how you deal with these units inside your base. More and more units rallying in for him. He's got walls coming up. Oh, he's gone for a Sacred Victory. Oh, he's trying to undercut him. He's trying to undercut right now. The Sacred Victory versus the Wonder. He needs to secure this northern position. We can see now with the outpost coming up in the top side, he is really trying to go for it. He knows that the Wonder is online, and he says, I don't care about your Wonder, because as long as I've got my Sacred Sites, my timer is shorter than yours. And look, honestly, when it comes to bragging about short, you know, having something shorter than your opponent, that is a great thing to brag about. I can think of at least one thing that you don't want to be bragging about being shorter than your opponents. Sacred Victory approaching is not one of those things. So really nice spot here for Divine. 200 out of 200 population, 44 minutes into this game. It is down to the wire. Ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely brilliant game we have got right here between two of the best late game civilizations facing off. The undercut is well and truly here. 3 minutes you're going to have to take off this sacred timer. Horseman coming in on the top side. Upgrades have come through on these outposts. He's looking for springald emplacements. He's running short on stone at this stage. Imperial official, no! Not like this! Sprinting to your death, my God! Imperial official. We've talked about this. You don't run into battle just to collect taxes, my friend. You can't be doing it. Horsemen towards the top side, trying to prevent those walls from coming up. Traders trying to break their way through. Now we've got the emplacements coming in on those outposts, looking to deal with the traders as well. Behind the scenes, we hear a battering ram attacking it. Divine DFP. He's looking strong in this game right now. He is looking very damn good. Towards that south side, it looks 100% like there is nothing happening there. Towards the middle, it's perfectly safe. Divine continues to put on the pressure. The hand cannoneer number's still looking good. He's on 31 hand cannoneers. Relic getting brought to the front line. The monk says, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to start doing some wallalols. And he sends it back and he's like, no, you know what? That's a terrible idea. We're not going to do it. But have a look at this. There is a trump card that Wham is now starting to play, and it's called the Bombard, baby. The Bombard, slowly but steadily coming online. He's got 4 of them in the back pocket. And as long as Divine plays this central game where he just looks to fight him down the middle, the Bombards will have success. He needs to run him around. He needs to find different angles. And speaking of different angles, Wham now looking for an angle towards the south. But keep in mind, he's not playing the Ayyubids. His cavalry cannot build siege, so he's going to need to get battering rams. He's going to need to get something out here to try and break these stone walls down. More units rallying towards that topside location. You can see that at this stage of the game, Wham is really looking to commit towards this north sacred site. He has recognized that this is probably going to be the easiest one. Battering ram gets taken out. Divine on 166 population, rather, up against his opponent who is on 200. It's a big difference. Military numbers still relatively even except for the siege difference. And now those nest of bees. Why do I always say the nest of bees? I'm still thinking about the beehive, baby. I'm still thinking about the beehive. Give it to me. I got my phone right in front of me. You just know what's listening to me, getting ready to serve me 1,000 different advertisements about beehives. You know, I'm going to be getting advertisements for like, here is your organic at-home beehive. It'll cost like $1,400. I'm still going to buy it because the ads are relentless and they know what I want. I want a beehive. Give me the beehive. I want to be the beekeeper. Call me Jason Statham. Look, don't kink shame me, but sorry. The numbers here at this stage are looking really good for Wayne. It is undeniable. We've got a sacred victory approaching. I don't think he's going to be able to hold for 7 minutes. Up against a wonder victory for 8 minutes. The elephant right now in the room is the bank. Look at the bank of Wham. He has got more than 15,000 resources, close to 15,000 resources in the bank. Whereas Divine, he is barely afloat, 129. I think this might be it. He has shot his last, he's shooted his last shot. He shot his last shot. He you know, shoot your shot. He's shot it. Didn't quite shoot. The undercut not going to be happening today, as the sacred site in the north will be neutralized, and that means that even if you want to try and recapture a sacred site, you're going to have to start from 0. Well, in this case, you have to start from 10, and then you work your way down to 0. If you started from 0, it'd be completely broken, because you just capture 3 sacred sites and win immediately, and I don't think that would be very balanced. The Delhi would be so good. Could you imagine that? It'd be like, and 7 minutes into the game, Lucifron's got 3 scholars out on the sacred sites. It looks like, for the most part, Beastie's still in his base going 2TC Song Dynasty, and oh, okay, Lucifron has won the game. All right, we move on to game number 2. Yeah, it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. But you know what would work? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Look at the size of that thing. Can we get a picture of that? Chuck that one on the front cover. Ladies and gentlemen, it's back. It's been so long. Look how beautiful that is. Can I get an amen? Oh man, that's one of the best looking wonders in the game. Speaking of wonders, get ready to witness the 7th wonder of the world, the 8th wonder of the world. I don't know how many wonders of the world there are, so I don't know which wonder of the world this would be, because technically if there were 7, this is the 8th wonder, and now we're preparing for the 9th wonder, which is the Great Bombards. The Bombards. But these Bombards are great, I will say that much, but I wouldn't call them great with a capital G. I would imply that that would be their name. It's not their name. They're Bombards, but they are great with a lowercase g. Man, this is starting to get a little bit cursed, this cast. Was this cast cursed from the beginning? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Was this a cursed cast from the beginning? I think it could have been. It could have been. What did we talk about in the beginning? Oh, yeah, we talked about the beehive. This was totally a cursed cast from the very beginning. Hey. Hey. I'm in your base. What? I'm trying to think of the voice line. Hey. It just killed it. It's like, you will never kill my... You will take our pride, but you will never take our freedom. Is that... I really hope that is the quote, because otherwise I just butchered it. I mean, I probably just butchered it anyway, but... You know, you hate to see it. I love that he just allowed the villager to face an honorable death rather than a death by his enemy. Wait, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, there are some cultures that it's honorable to be killed by your enemy, whereas that wouldn't have been an honorable death. Look, let's just hope for the Chinese that was honorable. I'm confident that this guy is, you know, he's having lunch somewhere with his cats. Rest in peace, Mia. She was a good cat. I tell you what. Oh, well, all right. Talking about honorable, Wham. He's getting a little bit honorable right now. Deletes the villagers. He says, I got 5 minutes left until my wonder victory is approaching. I think I'm just going to start making grenadiers. Name a better combination. I'll wait. Grenadiers and wonders. Can you think of anything more beautiful than that? And look at the way that he's playing. He's not pushing out. He's just chilling at home with the boys. Stone walls coming up. He's deleted farms around it. I like that he doesn't even complete the rest of the walls. Like, he's just like, this is a fake wall. It's a fake wall. I still need to be able to get in there, you know, so I can delete more villagers next to the wonder, send them to the afterlife, all that good stuff. Divine really needs to commit here. He's pushing 200 population. He's still got plenty of time, 5 minutes. So if you're thinking from Divine's perspective, what's the big thing that you need? And I'll be honest, the answer feels like bombards, right? You need bombards because you need to crack all of this production. You need to crack through this stone wall. You need to hit this keep. And then eventually you need to take down the enclave of the Emperor, which, by the way, has got court architects. So it's going to be taking extra long to get through on these. But now pushing forward. 51 minutes into this game. Technically 52. The wonder still stands strong. What was going on there? Oh, he tried to put down an outpost and immediately was denied. All right. Bombard. Now coming up. He's only got the single bombard. Second bombard technically is out on the map. There it is now coming through. Not a clock tower bombard, though. Important to note. Has he got 6 clock tower springalds and no clock tower bombards? Yikes, dude. This is going to be tough. Huge mass building for his opponent as well. The grenadiers are out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Fighting for our freedom. The horsemen moving forward. Springal's looking to find a way through. The bombards on the back. They've got their extra AoE damage. The numbers looking good for Wham. Remember, he deleted all those villagers, sent them to the Shadow Realm. But the nest of bees teeing off. Open the beehive, baby. Get it in there. Single, double nest of bees on the back. Big damage comes through. Hits all the crossbows, but the grenadiers are too strong. The horseman combination's too strong. He's cleaned it up completely. The siege is all alive on the back. It's going to be game, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. We can 100% call it at this stage. There's no way he's doing it. There's no way he's getting back into it. He was looking good around that 45th minute when the sacred sites got taken. He was looking absolutely amazing, but unfortunately, I don't think there's any way you're going to see him come back in this game. The grenadiers on the front, the crossbows on the back, and of course, even further back in the rear with the gear. You got the bombards, ladies and gentlemen. That is gonna be it. What an absolute game coming out from Wham and Divine DFP. Congratulations go over to Wham. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check them out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch them live over on Twitch. Wham and Divine DFP both streaming daily. Go check them out.